Hey, what's up, guys? Coach Matt, Play Fast Football. I'm going to do a video today talking a little bit about how carryover can create multiplicity, and I'm just going to give you a short example with how we choose to play behind some of our pressures, right? Remember to check out some of our sponsors, GameStrat, Sideline Replay Company we use. Highly reliable, highly affordable. Make sure you check out GameStrat, DomeHats, headwear company we use. Here's my Block Somebody, all right, custom trucker mesh, all right, hat from Dome. Custom hats, promote your brand, promote your business with the best custom hat company in the business. Baker Sporting Goods, where we get a lot of our sideline gear, coaches gear, our uniforms come from them. They're in the baseball world, huge in the baseball world, so if you are in the Southeast Florida area, make sure you check out Baker Sporting Goods. Modern Football, which is analytics company, it helps you in-game make adjustments real time to what you are getting, what you are seeing, saves you a lot of time in your planning and how you were doing things during the week, but instead of having to manually tag things and go through and say, all right, look, what are we getting, how do I make these adjustments? Offensive and defensive coordinators can make better adjustments in real time using Modern Football. And then FlyRouteDrones, everybody knows if you want to teach with the best angles, drone angles are the best angles, and they are the best drone company in the business for athletics. All right, so when we're talking about trying to create multiplicity, carryover is one of the ways you can do that, right? So for us, behind some of our pressures, all right, what I chose to do the last probably 5 or 6 years of my career when I was on defense is I chose to use more vision and break theories than I did pattern match theories behind some of our pressures, right? So we were always going to be a 6-man hot team, vision and break, eyes coverage, you know, something that we like to do on first down, something that we like to do to hold up versus the run game, right? We're trying to gap things out and send the ball to free hitters, which are the vision and break players, right? And then they're trying to vice the football back to a middle field safety who is the cap defender, so you feel good about a 6-man pressure, even if you ran it on first down from, your 20-yard line or the negative 20-yard line for the offense, right? You're worried about an 80-yard run going against a 6-man pressure. That wouldn't be an area that I would man pressure. But if you send 6 and you do it with vision and break theories, you have 2 vice defenders and a cap defender, so you feel comfortable, right? So we always did that. We were always a vision and break team. So one of the things I did was I got to where behind my 3 under 3 deeps and some of my 4 under 2 deeps, I let the underneath droppers be vision and break players, right? So we would get to, a world where we would send, just your standard America's blitz, and we'd send 5, all right? And when we were a 3-high team, our middle safety would always become the 3-hole dropper, right? So we would rotate to the nickel. So what would end up happening for us is these 3 players right here would become our vision and break players, right? So instead of treating it like your traditional 3 under 3 deep match carry deliver, right, and then you've got seam curl flat players and then you've got a 3-hole player, we just treated it as a vision and break theory. Okay, so obviously we would play those guys a little bit deeper, and then for me, obviously I would rotate and close the middle that way, and those would be 3rd players. But what ended up happening was I had more carryover from vision and break theories, so that when I went to 3 under 3 deep, instead of treating it as match carry deliver, I just treat it as vision and break. Now, what you have to be comfortable with is you're never going to pattern match the routes as tightly and effectively as a match carry deliver team would be, right? So every time you choose to do something, at least in my world that I live in, I have to think about the effectiveness of what I'm doing versus the effectiveness of doing it another way, and then I have to think about the time efficiency of what I'm doing. All right, if I want to be multiple and carry some different blitzes, do I have enough time to teach all the theories behind what I would think of the proper mechanics of how to tightly match those patterns? And in 3 under 3 deep, it would be some type of match carry deliver theory that you would have to teach, right? So if I didn't have to teach the match carry deliver and I could play guys as vision and break players, what am I giving up and what am I gaining, right? So to me, I think I'm gaining a little bit more multiplicity, all right, because I can be a little bit more exotic with 5-man, 6-man pressures. I can change the coverage on the back end by using the same techniques for the vision and break players, right? Now when I go to teach it in practice, I can teach all the back end guys how to be vision and break guys, and we can learn how to pull off a string, off the quarterback, front hand off the ball. We're going to melt one way, melt another way, because they're all the same vision and break theory. So rather than having to, work on match carry deliver and vision and break and our normal pattern matches and our quarters defense, now we can get it down to when we want to pressure, there's going to be a ton of scenarios where we are using vision and break players, and now really all we're doing is we're just adding an inside vision and break player. And if you look at 6-man hot pressure stuff and you go back to like early days of Michigan State, one of the reasons they went to six-man hots is because they felt like they never got a ton of play from their three-hole player. So they got to a world where they said, if we're not getting a ton of play from our three-hole player, let's just add him into the pressure. All right? So what I chose to do is I chose to take my three-hole player and just make him a vision and break guy, and make all three underneath guys vision and break guys, and now we can teach vision and break and eyes coverage, and we can teach it, all right, in six-man hots and five-man hots, right? So then what we would also do, all right, is we would, and again, there's going to be a lot of people that aren't comfortable doing these types of things because you feel like, you're potentially giving up things and you feel weak in certain scenarios, all right? And I certainly have been beat in certain scenarios where, maybe the pass coverage didn't match up as tightly and the pressure didn't get home. So I'm not saying that all these things are 1,000% how you need to play football. There are ways that I play football and the ways that I'm comfortable doing it. All right, so when we would go back to some of our interior pressures with 4 under, all right, we would go to 4 under, all right, 2 deep. And for me, what we would end up doing is in our 3 high world, all right, I would take the middle safety and I would make him rotate down away to be what we would call, this would normally be what you would call your 2 seam player, right? So if you're going to be a trap coverage and you're going to be 4 under 2 deep, one of the things you got to worry about is balls that are going in the seam, right? Things that rip right there. So that guy would obviously be your 2 seam player. You would try and, if it was pass, you would try and get some hands on him, force him wider, jam 1 in, 2 out, make the job easier on that safety, right? But that's, again, other things. Now, you probably teach that kid how to wall. The nickel probably knows how to wall anyways. I wanted to keep consistency behind my pressures, so when I went to 4 under 2 deep, I let the nickel and the middle safety vision and break the underneath part of the 4 under 2 deep. Okay, so what I did was I traded what I thought was the ultimate pattern match and how I can handle certain routes in that structure of 4 under 2 deep. I traded that for the simplicity of vision and break, all right? And now what I got out of that was less teaching time. I've already taught vision and break. I don't have to get as far down the road to say what we need to do in 4 under 2 deep, okay? And we just made it to where behind these pressures, we were playing zone pressures, 3 under 3, 4 under 2, and then 2 under 3 with our 6-man stuff. But what it allowed me to do is it allowed me to get a little bit more multiple in my pattern, in my blitzes, while still being very simplistic on the back end. So again, that's not going to marry well with a lot of people's theories. When they pressure, they want to make sure they have everything covered. I always want to make sure I have runs covered, right? So I always want to make sure that's going to be an extra player. Here, I'm not in love with weak side stuff, right? Because you have an open B gap. So instead of like a 6-man hot gapping it out and sending the ball to a free player, well, now that's actually your B gap defender there, and that's the edge of your defense in the trap world, right? The corner's the edge of the defense. So we do have an open interior gap, all right? So it's not as sound as 6-man stuff, but bottom line is I feel like I can carry more things because instead of having to worry about teaching the coverages that intently behind every blitz deal that we have, we make it a little bit more simplistic, and then I'm willing to give up possibly some of the things that I need to give up, all right? And if I'm playing a team that is going to hurt me in 4 under 2 with seam balls because I'm not doing as good of a job with walling and playing 2 seam, well then maybe I need to be 3 under 3, or maybe I need to be man free, or maybe I need to be something else. So that's on me as a coordinator. I could always decide that I'm playing a team that really rips me in the seam. I don't like 4 under 2 that week. Maybe I like man free. All right, so again, for me, it's a way to say that we can get to a bunch of different things. We can eliminate some of the teaching time because we've already taught it, right? So we've already had it taught to our 6-man stuff. We've always been a 6-man hot pressure team. So if we've always got it taught to our 6-man hot pressure stuff, then what's the difference if we use it, all right? For me, at least, the way I think, I can gain more multiplicity by using simpler techniques that we already teach by carrying things over, right? So now if we got into a world where we wanted to send the 6-man deals, there's your vision and break players. Now you close the middle with the middle safety. So now you've got the middle safety who's a vision and break guy, but he's also a post defender, right? Those are all things that I can teach him to do. These guys can learn how to play vision and break. And now we could actually take all the under players and all the safeties, and we could have 6 guys that learn what eyes coverage is, all right, or what you would say vision and break. So again, you have to be comfortable in the things that you're doing. You have to be comfortable in what you're trying to get accomplished. I feel like I don't lose as much in a high school passing game using vision and break players in 3 under 3 deep, 4 under 2 deep, and our 2 under 3 deep. All right, so I feel like I can be a little bit more multiple each week because my kids are doing things that are fairly simple that we already do, and I don't have to worry about matching every pattern exactly right. I worry more about runs in high school. I worry about getting things gapped out. So we always carry 6-man hots because I think it helps us in the run game. It's a great first down call for us. It's a rather safe call in most situations, all right? But then when you get to like 3 under 3, we're never going to match patterns as tightly as a match carry deliver team, and I know that. But I'm going to force teams to find that. I'm going to force teams to beat that lesser pattern match, and I'm going to vision and break, and I'm going to try and carry more things that make us look more multiple. Again, like everything I tell you on this channel, my philosophy, how I want to coach, not everybody agrees with that. There's times where, on the staffs I've been at as a head coach, as a coordinator, some of the other guys don't even agree with some of the things I do inside of my own staff. This is how I think I can get things accomplished. This is how I feel comfortable doing things for me so that I can appear to be a little bit more multiple while still being very simplistic for our kids. Appreciate you guys for watching everything we've done. Sorry there hasn't been as many longer videos, a lot of shorts. New head job, head coach, back in the saddle, still getting adjusted. As soon as the season's over, I'm going to start ripping more of these videos, but I appreciate everything you guys have done. Check out all of our sponsors. They're great people, great businesses. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. See you guys next time.